What a world we live in. I don't think anybody, especially let's say like maybe at the beginning of the year, we might have thought this game might have mattered, but I don't think anybody at the start of December was looking at this game and being like, man, it could be for almost everything.
Yeah.
But if the cards fall the right direction on Sunday, this game on Monday could be for a chance for everything. I think the Steelers still need the Browns to win regardless, right? That last game. I don't know what the Steelers.
Yeah, the Steelers would still need the Browns to beat the Bengals in week 18. Yeah, they still need that.
But yeah, that's crazy. And this division is insane. It's been that kind of year. Nobody can be trusted. And look, I know whenever Browns fans think about winning the division, we are all negative. Oh man, we played terrible. We don't deserve it. There are a lot of other teams in this division that feel that exact same way.
I'll take a number there. Yep. I also feel like the Steelers have been very bad, don't deserve a division title, but I'll be very happy if they wind up there.
Oh yeah, at this point, right? I think we talked about our AFC North talk. The Browns fans, we have went bankrupt on that first line of credit that we were using because we thought the Super Bowl was happening and this is going to be the year, and then we defaulted on that one. We went bankrupt. We had to open a new line of credit, and now this is found money at this point, right?
Exactly. For the Steelers, for a team that at the beginning of the year, looked like Ben Roethlisberger, absolute shell of himself, and the team was 1-3, and it's like, okay, this team's going to win like 5 games this year. They're going to be terrible. What were they thinking? Trying to run this thing back one more time, and now here we are 2 weeks before the end of the season. It's like, okay, this wasn't a successful season. This wasn't why they brought Ben back. But if you could, sneak your way to a division title, it does make it a little more worth it.
Now, this is an interesting game for me. Because when I look at this thing just as a football analyst, right? When I put my football analyst brain on, I'm like, okay, well, Steelers can't stop the run.
Yeah.
The Browns can run the ball at a pretty high level at times, especially the last couple of weeks. And then you look at the other side and it's like, well, everything the Steelers can do to move the ball, the Browns are pretty good against, and the Steelers can't run the ball. And the Browns are getting back Jadeveon Clowney and Malik McDowell this week, plus Myles Garrett. It seems like a tough matchup. But then irrational part of me, Browns fan part of me goes, but it's Monday Night Football, and it's Ben Roethlisberger's last game in Heinz Field.
Yep.
And it's versus the Cleveland Browns. And there's no way I could go into this game feeling as confident as what the football tells me I should be confident in. Like, there is such great dissonance here. How does it feel on the other side of this matchup?
Identical. I think every Steeler fan goes into this game and they're thinking to themselves, look, this Steeler offense is capable of nothing at this point. I mean, they haven't scored an offensive touchdown in the first half in 5 weeks. 5 weeks since they scored a touchdown in the first half of a game. And then on the defensive side, you nailed it. I mean, they can't stop the run. Keith Butler, the Steelers defensive coordinator, said in a recent press conference, he said, if I was the opposing offensive coordinator, I would run the ball every play against us. That's what I would do. Because even Keith Butler has no faith in these players and their ability to stop the run. And why should they? I mean, the Steelers have not stopped the run in weeks. Really going back, I think you'd have to go back to this game the first time around to when this team was actually decent at stopping the run. And it was kind of a miracle at the time because you look at the games all around it. Even the Seahawks the week before had kind of exposed how bad the Steelers run defense was. So yeah, I think matchup wise, I look at it and I say, I doubt that I'm going to get a great performance from Ben Roethlisberger or anyone on this offense. And then defensively, boy, you're in a game again where you hope that, Nick Chubb's going to go off. So you're just hoping that you stop him in the red zone, right? Force the Browns in kicking field goals instead of scoring touchdowns. Keep yourself in this one because like every Steeler game this year, the way they're going to win it is probably going to be in the fourth quarter in some strange, special teams play or, random interception down the stretch that leads to a Steeler victory. Yeah.
Because I was just wondering, like, depending on what you feel about quarterbacks, it's pretty likely that you might feel like a quarterback could decide this game for Pittsburgh. You just don't know which one.
Yeah.
Right. Like, And I think that's going to be Cleveland's strategy. I think also with Pittsburgh, right? I think they're going to try their darndest to try to put this game in Baker Mayfield's hands to try to, because they feel like they could force some mistakes there with Baker. How do you think they go about doing that, though, knowing that the secret's out, they can't stop the run?
Right, and Minkah Fitzpatrick is the leading tackler for the Steelers at this point. In fact, I believe he has the most tackles of any defensive back in Steeler history at this point. So he has been. I mean, he's kind of transformed himself in the second half of this season to becoming this like good, sure tackler in the open field, which is something we really hadn't seen from him earlier. I mean, he would get mocked earlier for missed tackles in the open field. So he's actually gotten way better in that area, but it's not a good situation when your free safety is your leading tackler because of what's happening in that run game. I think they're going to have to look. They're going to have to load the box. I mean, they're of course they do this every week, but they're going to have to load the box. I think you're going to see more of Robert Spillane. Robert Spillane led the team in tackles last week, not Minkah Fitzpatrick. So there's a positive sign, I guess. Yeah, progress. Devin Bush didn't play.
Now it might have had to do with something about that game really wasn't close.
No, and the other thing is Devin Bush didn't play at all in that Chiefs game. He was out with COVID. So he'll be back in this week. We'll see if there's a rotation again, or if again, I just don't know how this team can put Devin Bush out there and feel like that's going to be a good matchup against a very physical Browns offensive line. And given what Devin Bush has done in run defense this year, is not inspiring whatsoever. So no, I mean, this team's got to play above itself. Every once in a while they do. I'm not going to sit here and say like the Steeler defense is completely incapable, right? I mean, this is a team that has held teams under 20 points, plenty of times this year, about 7 times this year they needed to do that, and that's how they won all those games. So I'm not going to say they're completely incompetent, but it just like you looking at this game on paper, I think Nick Chubb's going to have a big game. I think Nick Chubb's going to have a really big game, and the question is whether or not those yards that he's going to put up are going to amount to touchdowns or field goals. If they're field goals, I like my Steelers' chances. If they're touchdowns, well, this one's probably going to be ugly early, like the Chargers game or the Vikings games were for the Steelers in the past.
I think the Browns even had to sign a new kicker, Chris Blewett. He was a former Pitt guy, right? I remember he was in Pitt.
What a name! What a name for a kicker!
Yeah, he blew a kick. I think his junior year, right? And the headline was Blewett. Yeah, it's better than the last name of the last guy that the Browns had in there, which had to be careful with that one. A lot of people had to be very careful with that one. But yeah, it's interesting how these matchups look there, especially for the offensive side of the ball. Defensively for the Cleveland Browns, I think this is probably the most dependable part of the team. This is definitely the most dependable part of the team here. They've been pretty good here the last few weeks, especially I think last week. Only 3 points off of true possessions, the 21 points straight off of those turnovers against Aaron Rodgers. I mean, in a game where Aaron Rodgers throws the ball 30 times, he only had 200 yards. That's fortunate, right? Especially when he had all those extra possessions. What do you think the Steelers offense is going to try to do against this Browns defense, specifically on that offensive line there when the Browns are getting healthy to have 3 of their 4 starters back now? Well, all their starters back on that defensive line. Plus Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
What do you do if you're this Steelers offensive line who, it hasn't been a great situation there. They just let their offensive line coach walk for free.
Yeah. Well, he offered to leave and they said, no, yeah, please, go ahead.
No, man, we already got it boxed up.
Yeah, it's fine. You don't have to stay for the end of the year. Go ahead. Yeah, Oregon, yeah. See you.
You don't know you're about to be fired, dog.
Yeah, Tomlin said this week, he said he wanted to get a better look at their assistant offensive line coach, right, to evaluate him for the future or whatever, some kind of BS reason, whatever it was. Like, Adrian Clem likely wasn't going to be here for much longer. So, yeah. But I think talking about the offensive line and what's going to happen in this game, I mean, as far as that matchup there, nothing good. The Steelers offensive line has not played well. I'll be interested to see this week if Kendrick Green, the Steelers starting center, is benched, because he got pseudo benched last week. Now the coaching staff after the game said no, he was dealing with an injury and that's why we benched him. But it just so happened that it was after, I believe, a bad snap and then a sack given up. So he had like back-to-back bad plays and then left because of injury. Okay, we'll see. I'm interested to see what happens there. I think the Steelers are going to look. Every week they try to run the ball, right? They give the old college try. Hey, yeah, we'll give an attempt here, and we'll see if they can do this. Then they can't. They have to rely on Ben. I mean, the whole offense flows through Deontay Johnson, so it's a relatively easy ask right now of defenses on how to stop this team. The Chiefs gave, I think, one of the most worrisome performances for the Steelers in that they sat in too high the entire game. They did not load the box. They basically sat with 6 in the box. They sat in too high. They said, if you want to run the ball, cool, run the ball. Yeah, we don't think you can run the ball against our 6 defenders right now. And we were definitely not letting you throw anything deep. So anything you do throw is going to be underneath. And the Steelers had basically no answer. I mean, they were basically shut out for the entire game. Those the touchdown and the field goal, those came really late in the game. I think it's, it is really worrisome right now how poor this Steeler offense has gotten. They have no second option in the passing game. It's Deontay Johnson or bust. Chase Claypool at this point is not a reliable target, nor is James Washington. This offense wants to make Ray McLeod happen. That can't, that's not working. So, yeah, it's not good in Pittsburgh. But again, it hasn't been good all year. I mean, I say all this now, and I say, this team isn't good, and here's all these things. These things haven't been good all year. It's not like there was a point in this year where you looked at the Steelers offense and you went, ooh, well, they got really a lot to work with now, So this team just miracles their way to victories, and I think that's what we're hoping for on Sunday or on Monday night.
What do you think has to happen though for Pittsburgh to win?
I think you need crazy special teams or turnovers. I mean, you just need to flip the field quickly. You need to put this offense in advantageous positions because they're not going to go 80 yards for a touchdown. I or not more than once for sure. So, you look at games like Tennessee, you look at games like Buffalo, you look at games like, like that where the Steelers were able to get multiple turnovers, or quick scores on special teams, things like that. That's what they have to do because this offense is just right now. I mean, they're just incapable. I mean, maybe they can miracle their way to like a Chase Claypool 70-yard bomb or something like that. But man, those things are, again, that's all just smoke and mirrors at this point. Everyone knows what the Steelers want to do offensively. It's going to be bombs down the sideline and then, run the ball and short passes over the middle. So barring crazy special teams or barring turnover, this offense is going to be stuck around like 13 points, 16 points. And it's a race to 20.
This is one of the most difficult games I feel like to preview because there's really not much to talk about on the field here, right? Like it's pretty much, this team don't do this well. This team does do this well.
Yeah.
If we're talking about what the Browns don't do well, they don't throw the ball well, but if you can have success running the ball, you can. And Baker will, he will give you Baker's good for a turnover, right? Like however that turnover happens, we know Baker's good for it. Now there's some games where he can make up for it and play well enough that you'll live with the turnover, but there's some games where, the turnovers don't stop.
One of the things the Steelers have feasted on in the last couple wins that they've had are teams that are having a lot of success running the football, but they don't stay wholly committed to it, And it has been a weird thing to watch as a Steeler fan. You're like, look, Steeler fans get on their offensive coordinator, right? Matt Canada. I mean, they're just, they're ready to run this guy out of town. But it is fun to watch opposing offensive coordinators when like just run the ball literally every single play against the Steelers and good things will happen. They just, every once in a while, they run twice, they get a first down. It's like, all right, let's throw here. Let's see what happens. The interception. Okay, well, great. Because and those are the things that really do keep the Steeler team in games, right? You're running the ball really successfully, then you throw the ball on first down, you get a holding call. Now it's 1st and 20. Now your whole drive is screwed, right? Because now you got to start throwing the ball. The Steelers' pass defense this year has not been great, but it's not terrible. It's nowhere near as bad as their run defense. And so those are the things that puts this team in advantageous positions, and that's what stalls drives for opposing teams. So it is going to be interesting to watch Stefanski and how he calls this game and how much he wants to, you do the whole run the ball to set up play action. It's like, you don't need to run the ball to set up play action in this game. You just need to run the ball to run the ball. And I'm always intrigued to watch the opposing team against the Steeler defense and how committed they can stay to running the football, because only good things are going to happen when you run the ball. There's not a whole lot of good things that are going to happen when you throw, because you're going to leave TJ Watt potentially in a situation where he can make a play, or someone in that defense. We've seen Joe Hayden, we've seen Akilla Witherspoon, and of course Minka Fitzpatrick back there to make good things happen. So yeah, that's going to be a part of this game. I'm intrigued to watch.
Yeah, look, if I'm the Browns, I'm playing this like a game of Madden. I am double team On TJ Watt. I'm using that double team block to seal the edge, and I'm just going Nick Chubb right there. Just just off the edge, go downhill, get there. Nick Chubb should get 20 carries. Dearness Johnson should get 10, and if Kareem Hunt plays, give him 10 more carries. And at most, the absolute maximum pass attempts for Baker Mayfield is 20.
Yeah.
If he throws 40 times, this is a L. The Browns have lost this game if he throws 40 times. He should not throw the ball more than 20 times.
I mean, you had those remember those back-to-back Tennessee wins in the playoffs where I think Tannehill threw the ball in those playoff games like 20 times total in 2 games, right? I think he threw the ball against New England. I think he threw the ball legitimately like 7 times in that game. They just ran the ball and ran the ball and ran the ball and ran the ball. I don't understand for a Steeler defense that has been this bad against the run, and they have been awful against the run for the last 2 months. I don't understand how we haven't seen a game like that yet. I mean, there's been no team against the Steelers that have done that have said, like, we're literally not going to throw the ball unless it's 3rd and long. Otherwise, we're just running.
Look, bro, if I'm the Browns this week, I'm coming out in triple option. Like I'm putting Jarvis Landry out there, and I'm putting Dearness Johnson, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt in the diamond formation, and that's how we're gonna be able to misdirect you, right? Like know we gonna run, you just don't know which way, and we gonna have double options. We gonna have all that stuff going. I will sign Josh Johnson off the street to run it. I don't care who you got to get to run it. What's the one guy who used to play at Navy in that triple option? He's a wide receiver now.
Oh, I don't know.
He used to be on the Ravens for a while, but somebody in the comment section would know. But yeah, I don't care how it looks. I don't care what hot takes are about Baker Mayfield. If you want to win this game, you better get some triple option looks, some wing tees. Like we doing it all. Fullback, I form. We gonna run the first ever hurry up single back formation, 12 personnel packages. We gonna just hurry up in the 2 minute and just run the ball. Because you know what? If they don't do it this week, when you're playing a team that cannot stop the run for a second time in a row.
Yeah.
Because Green Bay also leads the league. They're tied with Pittsburgh at 4.8 yards per carry. But if you can't, after this week, where maybe if you run the ball there at the end of that game, once you get past the 50-yard line with 3 timeouts, maybe you win that game and this game becomes less important. But no, or even more important, maybe if you run the ball that game, you have thought about running the ball all week, how you did not run the ball enough. You have thought.
Well, yeah, and what was Baker? Two of the 4 Baker interceptions last week were on first down, right? Weren't they? They were first down plays, if I remember right. So
the last one was on 3rd down. The second, was it the first one?
The first one was a long one. That one was on first down. Yeah, that was on.
That was on first down.
Yeah.
The other one, I don't know what down that was on, but that was in the red zone.
Yeah.
And then, there was a lot.
There was quite a few, yeah. But I think 2 of the 4 were on first down, which is and like not to say I don't want to be like, oh, you got to be super predictable on offense, but I do think in a matchup like this, you don't need to be balanced, right? You don't need to like, all right, we're gonna mix in running pass, we're gonna keep this defense on their heels. Look, as a Steeler fan, I've watched 16 games of these Steelers this year, or 15 games, whatever it is now. You don't need to keep this team off balance. You just need to run the football until they can stop you. And I'll promise you, it's going to take a while before they're going to stop you. So you're going to have some success.
Yeah, if they don't run the ball 40 times this week, they'll never do it. Like that's kind of it where it is with the Browns. It's like if they're not going to commit to it. And honestly, this is a coaching staff that has committed to running the ball before. I don't know why it's been such a hassle as of late. It almost seems like at some times like they're trying to prove a point with Baker, and they don't have to anymore. Like I feel like we have all accepted this point. Well, Baker is what Baker is, so we don't have to prove any more points with them. So we can just run this ball 40 times and get the win, however we need to get it. But yeah, that's basically if you're the Browns, this is what you want to do.
Yeah.
Offensively, defensively, I mean, I would just do the same thing they did against Aaron Rodgers, getting that 2 under the whole game, pretty much. Dare him to run the ball, but because that'd be much better. Hold on, let me get out of this. But yeah, it would be that kind of same strategy. I don't know how aggressive you will be with Myles Garrett in this game, just because he's hurt, and honestly, like, do you really want him to push upfield to let Ben kind of sneak out those lanes and like make a throw on the run there? But I don't know if that's something Ben still does at this point. I'm just
Not really.
trying to game plan for vintage Ben because I'm 100% convinced he's coming back for
this. Is Myles Garrett on a pitch count in this game though?
Probably not. No, they have no more pitch counts left because they need to win all these games.
Yeah, they got to win everything. But he's playing. He's playing through injury, right? I mean, he's
playing through a hammy.
Yeah,
he tweaked his hamstring a couple weeks ago against the Raiders, and
it is an interesting thing like down the stretch of this season, right? Because I mean, okay, so the Browns still have playoff hopes, the Steelers still have playoff hopes. Right? I mean, these both teams are playing for that. But the other kind of part of this game that is kind of intriguing is that both of these players were 2 weeks ago 1A and 1B when it came to Defensive Player of the Year. Then both got hurt, right? TJ's dealing with a cracked rib. He's very clearly hurt, and he is on a pitch count at this point. So you wonder, like, is either guy capable down the stretch of having another big game? Because I think both guys, while their numbers are gaudy, I think both guys need one more big game to kind of clinch it. Otherwise, you got Aaron Donald sneaking up, and I think Micah Parsons may just run away with it at this point. And so, yeah, I mean, both guys could use kind of a big game here, selfishly, just to win that reward.
Yeah, just because it's Monday Night Football too. Let's not like
right.
Let's be honest here. If Myles Garrett has 4 sacks against the Bengals, they're not even going to factor that in the vote. Like unless like the number looks crazy, the sack number looks crazy, which it would be at like 20 at that point.
Get over 20 at that point, yeah.
Yeah, that's not crazy enough as if we had learned from the Justin Houston situation where he almost tied the sack record and still lost to a JJ Watt, who was just putting up gaudy stats everywhere else. It's going to come down to this, right? If one of those two have a great game this week and like you can legitimately say they won this game because of that player, they might win it. But at this point, the Cowboys factor in the Micah Parsons thing might make that thing inevitable. And remember, this is a award voted on by the media. And media votes on who they watch.
Yep.
And everybody watches the Cowboys. So
and I wouldn't rule out Aaron Donald to sneak in here too, because it's one of those things where like all Aaron Donald needs to be is in range of those guys, right? Aaron Donald right now has 12 sacks.
People would just default to Aaron Donald.
If Aaron Donald gets to 15 and Watt and Garrett kind of stay slow down the stretch, let's say they each get like one more sack, so they end up with 18 and a half and 16, and you have Donald there at 15. But Garrett and Watt were slow down the stretch, and Donald was good, I think Donald wins it by default. I mean, and it's one of those things where I don't know how you feel about this. It does bother me when we talk about the Aaron Donald thing. You know, Steeler fans get this whole like they robbed TJ Watt of the award and all that, and they gave it to Aaron Donald. Like, Aaron Donald's a generational player. If they want to give him Defensive Player of the Year, I don't care what his stats are. If you want to give him Defensive Player of the Year every single year, right? They're right. He is the best defensive player in the league. So it's just it's crappy for guys like Watt and Garrett to have to play, in that generation, right? Because it's, you don't want to take away from what Myles Garrett does. Myles Garrett's a great player. TJ Watt, great player. They just happen to play with a generational player, and that's the difference.
Yeah, it's almost like, Aaron Donald getting Defensive Player of the Year at this time in his career is kind of like giving the Coach of the Year to Bill Belichick this year. It's like, we know.
It's a lot like how they used to do with MVP with LeBron, right? It's like LeBron is MVP every year, but then one year they're like, maybe we'll just give it to let's just get what do you think about James Harden this year? What do you think about James? Let's James Harden.
Whoever the MVP is not the best player in the league, right? Like they're still proving that, but it's like when Jordan was around, right? Yeah, Charles Barkley won the MVP, but who you thinking in the NBA Finals, right?
Exactly.
It's one of those situations to where we know Aaron Donald's better than Myles Garrett or TJ Watt just because he's Aaron Donald. He's a freakish player. Again, wanted the Browns to draft him in 2014. Instead, they took Justin Gilbert. I'm still never going to get over that. I will never get over
Steeler
that.
Justin Gilbert, by the way. I don't know if you remember, but the Steelers, I believe, traded.
Justin Gilbert, former Steeler, he used to wake up late and not show up to his meetings on time. And then when he was confronted on it, he said, "Well, y'all got the meetings too early."
I can relate
Classic
to that.
Justin Gilbert, man. He had one interception in his entire
He didn't change when he went to Pittsburgh either. He went to Pittsburgh and did the same stuff and got run out of town. So
that's where see Justin Gilbert is why I feel like the whole he's gonna go to a new organization and they're gonna fix him up is so overrated because
let me tell you about a guy named Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah. Man, that man is who he is. That organization gets by because they don't draft dudes like that. They just sign them as flyers to see if something can happen with them. But those dudes ain't changing because who? Because somebody go yell, because Joey Porter go yell at them. Like, that's not gonna change them. Like, nah, they gonna be who they are.
Yeah,
Joey Porter ain't gonna wake that man up.
No, Dwayne Haskins got to Pittsburgh, and Kevin Colbert, the Steelers general manager, said, like, yeah, he came out of college early. He's just way immature. He's just way immature. He just called. He's just like, yeah, sorry, but that's who it is.
Yeah. Well, it was like Eli Apple was another guy came out of Ohio State, and I remember he had the weirdest draft report. I don't know if you remember this, but Eli Apple came out, and do you remember what the draft report was about him?
I don't.
The draft report mentioned that his mother still makes every meal for him.
Oh,
and does his laundry and basically treats him like he's in high school.
Now, this could be you could spin that in a good way, right? More time for football, right? He's got too much film study to make his own breakfast, right? He's got, listen, if you're cutting out making breakfast, doing your laundry, you got more time to study the
Given that Eli Apple has been in the league 6 years and it just now seems like he's putting it together, I feel like they were on to something with those reports.
Well, there's a team that's not going to do your laundry for you. It's the Cincinnati Bengals, right there.
Yeah, Cincinnati Bengals like, hey, man, we ain't got none of that.
You better learn. You better some Tide.
New York, baby.
Yeah.
We ain't got none of those services. You're going to have to find your own way to get to the stadium. We ain't got no bus.
Yeah,
you book your own hotel, man. You gonna learn. So he had to learn some adult skills, and it's working out for him. It looks like he's finally figured it out.
He's playing better this year. Yeah, he's
been having a really good, strong 4 weeks here. I know Ace gonna make that a part of the clip because he's gonna find this somewhere.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we're getting.
The last time the Browns played, you ended up on the clip, right?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Listen, I
went on a little rant here.
By the way, wasn't wrong. I just want to throw it out there. Wasn't wrong. Everything I said on that show was absolutely right. I said that, and then like the next 2 weeks, they lost to the Jets and they lost to someone else bad. So I listen. I apologize for absolutely nothing I said. And this team still hasn't won the division yet. I mean, I know that we're doing videos because they beat the Steelers or whatever. Like, cute. Congratulations on beating the Steelers. They haven't won the division yet. Let's get there before we start making videos.
Well, always an interesting time when the Browns play the Steelers. You get to talk to Tony. Of course, you want to check up on Tony and see more of Tony. You can see him more on AFC North Talk, also on his YouTube channel, Steelers Country, where he posts a video once every moon cycle.
Yeah, I have I'm working on a new one now. I took I took the season off. I did a whole bunch of videos in the off season, and then the season started, and I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. So I took the season off. I mean, a lot of life stuff got in the way, just timing stuff. But I am working on another one now. You'll start to see some more videos from me there soon.
Definitely, guys, check him out. His pre-draft stuff's usually pretty good too there. So check him out during draft season. Look, we both gonna be looking at quarterback tape. So
no doubt. It's just a question with the Steelers if it's going to be a rookie or a veteran. But there will be a new quarterback.
We might have to just do a collab. We're like, all right, we're gonna look at this Malik Wills tape if we can get it. You know what I mean?
Do we have to though? That's the problem with this draft class. Is like, do I really want to watch these guys?
You're not looking forward to this Sam.
How much Carson Strong tape do I have to watch before I can just say no? Because I think just watching like Nevada every once in a while during the season, I think I know Carson Strong. I'm not.
Yeah,
got a cool name.
I've seen
got a cool quarterback name.
To know that, like, I'm not drafting Desmond Ridder with like the first round or anything.
Yeah, no, Ridder. Yeah, we talked about it on AFC North Talk. I just don't like teams like Cincinnati's. Their best asset is their defense, right? They play in a weakened group of 5. They're not an SEC school. They're not even an ACC, right? They play in the group of 5. So if you're a quarterback in a group of 5 school and your team is known for how good their defense is, that's a problem for me.
Yeah. You gotta be in a Heisman conversation. You're gonna be popping out of there. You know what I mean? It's just It's one of those things. But hey, maybe we can maybe we'll just tickle ourselves and look at this Bryce Young tape early.
There you go. Yeah. Listen, get prepped for that because Bryce Young looks real good.
Yeah, see if CJ Stroud's going to turn into something, even though he went to Ohio State.
Yeah, Caleb Williams looks very, very good. Looked good last night against Oregon.
Caleb Williams, there's some good one out there. It's going to be a lot of looking forward. Maybe we can look at this Taylor Heineke tape. You know what I mean? Like maybe.
Hey, are you coming around yet? Are you ready?
No.
If he doesn't go to the Steelers next year, I would be very happy if he went to the Cleveland Browns for you.
Oh,
for you and everyone in Cleveland. Yeah.
Finally, he wore 6 in the XFL, so we might not even have to change jerseys all like that.
It's a straight swap. A straight swap.
Well, here's what we'll have. We'll have both of them in training camp, and they play for the number. Winner goes home. Loser goes home. You know what I mean? Like,
wow.
It's gonna be like a WWE Royal Rumble kind of deal, where it's like, all right, man, it's either 6 or nothing. You know what I mean? Case Keenum's the official. We gonna get that thing rolling. You know what I mean? We'll see. We'll see how this season plans out. Look, there's nothing guaranteed this year. Big Ben could win the Super Bowl. Baker Mayfield could win the Super Bowl, or Patrick Mahomes is probably going to win the Super Bowl. It's probably going to be Patrick Mahomes. I feel like the Chiefs are.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs are. I mean, potentially a team from the NFC can win it, but I think if it's going to be an AFC team, it's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. They are. After watching them play my Steelers, they are far and away the best team in the league right now.
Yeah, they're the best team playing right now, and they're hot at the right time. Look, I've always been a fan of teams that don't get hot at the beginning, but get hot at the end.
Yeah,
that's when you need to get hot. And you know, they're playing their best football, even though they got that bye week, and sometimes that bye week can extinguish some heat. But there's just nobody in the AFC I trust getting hot at this point, right? Like.
I guess Buffalo is the other team that, like, Buffalo. Remember, Buffalo was real good. You talk about the opposite. Buffalo was like real good at the beginning of the year. Then they cooled off. Now they're getting hot again. So you do wonder, like, can they get back to what they were? Because they looked like, far and away the best team in the AFC back at the beginning of the year. But it's been quite different.
Funny that, like, before this season, we were talking about, oh man, all these quarterbacks in the AFC that could show up, and like Carson Wentz is the 4 seed.
Yeah. Carson Wentz looks like he's a top 3 quarterback in the AFC right now.
We're like all these young quarterbacks, and now we're talking about Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
And Matthew Stafford. You never know.
You never
know. But that's going to be it for this preview. Thank you, Tony, for coming in and spending some time here chatting about this.
Absolutely.
Anything else you want to say before we leave out?
No, thanks again for having me on. Looking forward to Monday night. And as I said on AFC North Talk, look, Browns fans, you got a second chance to end Ben's career. Remember that. Listen, it looked like on that game in the playoffs that it looked like, Ben was going to go out a loser crying on the sideline. Here we are again. So Browns get a second chance at it. I am worried, the whole final destination part of this, the whole you can't cheat death. And this probably is going to end badly again for Ben, considering how this team has been playing. But that's why they play the game. So we'll see what happens on Monday. Thanks for having me on, though.
No problem. And I'm pretty sure Ben has been thinking about this game for about a year.
Yeah.
It's almost been a year since that game. And if this game starts with Kendrick Green snapping the ball over his head, do you think Big Ben at that point fakes an injury and just goes out at that point?
I think at that point he just says, yeah, screw it. I'm out of here. I'm out.
I'm going to just
put
sit
Mason
out this
in. I can't do this again. I can't do it again. Can't do this.
But we'll see what happens. This could be one of the greatest Big Ben games of all time. It could be that playoff game. I have no idea what to expect.
That's what's fun about this one is, I don't know what to expect either. I think the Browns are going to be able to run the ball. I think you can expect that, and everything else, who the hell knows?
But then the last time, we thought the Browns were going to be able to run the ball.
That's true. But the run defense for the Steelers has gotten worse since then. I mean, significantly worse. So
I don't know, man. Joe Schobert's a former Brown. He might just have a big day. You know what I mean? Just this show. But all right, man. His best moments in his career are in this Browns-Steelers rivalry, by the way. Joe Schobert's best moments in his entire career. I think almost all of his interceptions are like in this game. I think he's at like at least 3.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah, the Joe Schobert X Factor. We didn't even talk about that one.
No. Well, because he's not an X Factor. He's a non-factor right now. So
I tried to tell people that 3 years ago. But that's for real. This is going to be it. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Have a good night.